Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop and our very first Saturday night special of 2021. I hope everybody had a good holiday, had some time off there at Christmas and New Year's, and had a good time, enjoyed some time spending with your family and maybe a little bit of time off work there. So we got a couple things that I want to talk about, and then we've got some machine work that we're going to get to. So recently we had the new Hydmech saw that I brought into the shop. And I had a lot of folks say that I ought to machine my own machinery feet for it, because I said I was going to buy some machinery feet. Well, I've actually got some of the like the urethane machinery pads. They just need the steel, the stems that's going to screw down into that. So I'm going to use these mounts that I already own and just machine the other parts for it. We're going to get that done. I'll get them hooked up to the machine and get it leveled. And I also want to talk about, we're using a new camera and a new mic system now as well. I went ahead and upgraded to the GoPro Hero 9 with the media mod, so that I have the mic jack built into the media mod there. I've got the little LED light attached to it. But my newest addition is a new mic. And so I'm now going to be trying out and using the Rode Wireless Go. It's a wireless mic system. Once I found out about this, I thought this would be an excellent mic to use in the shop and try to help improve the audio, okay? I've never really cared for the lav mics where you have to run the cord down your shirt and you've got a transmitter, attached to you. I have never liked those, and that's why I've tried to avoid them all these years. So the mic that I've always used whenever I'm in the shop here is the Rode Go, okay? And this has worked really well. It is a directional mic, but I had the mount modified so that I could actually turn this mic whichever direction I want, okay? And that works really good. The other benefit of using this kind of mic right here is that it helps drown out some of the outside noise around you, okay? And I think the Wireless Go is going to pick up a lot more sounds than what I necessarily is going to want in the video. So we're going to be testing it and seeing how it works, and hopefully it's going to work out really well. I already did one test video on it over the holidays. We had went down to the beach, had a beach day at Alabama Point. Right over there is the Gulf. We're going to walk over there because man, you can just hear how loud it is over there with the waves. But you got this little area here too that's really cool. This little rounded section, and then that's the pass. I want to come out here and look at the wave action.
The difference between that and this.
Yeah. By the way, we're still testing out the new Rode Go, Wireless Go. So I'm hoping all these videos turn out good and it's not too windy. I do have I have the little fuzzy windsock on the mic there as well, as you've probably seen.
Which looks so cute.
Abby loves it. So I'm really hoping the audio turns out. This is going to be a true test because it is pretty windy out here.
Wow, that's
and I wanted to test it out, and it was extremely windy that day, and the video turned out really good. There was no wind noise in the mic, and you could hear the water crisp and clear. You could hear both of us talking into the camera. So that test video worked out pretty good. So now we're going to be trying it here in the shop and seeing how it does here for the shop work and the machining projects. But I've got it sitting right here. I'm going to pick it up so that you can see what this looks like without trying to disturb it too much, okay? But so here is the actual transmitter right here. This is the part that I will be wearing, and it's got a clip on the back that also fits your standard cold shoe mount there as well. And the way that I plan on using this mic right here is attaching it to my hat. I'll have this clipped right up here to my hat, or you can put it on your shirt if you like. I think for now I like having it up here on my hat because I really don't feel it and don't really know that it's there. It's just whenever you see me in some of these shots, you may see this mic stick up here on my hat. But like I said, you can clip it to your clothes. I've also got this other mount here that goes on to the back clip, and it's got a magnet right here, and you can actually take this guy, put the magnet inside your shirt, and just hold it and have it sandwiched between your your clothes right there. So I'll have that as an option if I want to use that there as well. So anyway, just want everybody to know we're hoping to make some improvements with our video and our audio here. I'll set that down and hopefully don't disturb it much more. But we're just going to be testing it out, and we'll see how the videos go. If for some reason that mic is not working out in my favor, or maybe it's not working out for the videos, I can always go right back to my directional mic right here that I've been using. All right. You guys probably been waiting a while to see these. These are my repaired Thorgood work boots that I had sent up to Trent and Heath Potter. They're up in the Nashville, Tennessee area. They're shoe cobblers, and they also do high-end shoe and boot repair. So I showed these in a previous SNS last month, and was mentioning that Trent had reached out to me and offered to do a full refurbish of my work boots. And so I happily accepted the offer, boxed them up there and sent them up, and they worked their magic on these boots, and I received them back over the Christmas holiday. I got them back, and I've been looking forward to sharing them with you and actually putting them back to work. I haven't put them on yet. I haven't used them. I wanted to share with you what they look like before I start getting them messed up and dirty again. But they did an excellent job repairing these guys. They've got a full video there on their YouTube channel, so be sure to check them out. Their YouTube channel is called Trenton and Heath, and their video shows what they had to do to repair my boots. You know, they took the midsole and the main sole off there and did some repairs as you would have to do, and polished them up. You know, they cleaned the leather and conditioned them to make the leather look nice again, and they just look fabulous, man. They look a lot better than what I thought that they could have looked just by doing a sole repair on them. So there's the left side. You can see it looks just as nice. So I'm extremely happy with the quality of their work. These look great, and I know they're going to last me for a while again. So I'm looking forward to putting these back to work. So thank you very much, Trent and Heath. I really appreciate it there. And if you guys are looking for a good shoe repair, be sure to check them out. Potters and Sons, they have a website there, pottersandsons.com. I'm sure if you're in the market for somebody that can do either shoe or boot repair, they can definitely fix you up. So give them a try, and be sure to check out their YouTube channel. They got a lot of great videos out there on not just work boots, but all kinds of different high-end shoe repair there as well. So thank you again, Trent and Heath. All right, guys, I've been working on the machinery feet for the Hydmech saw, and I think I got the part where I want it. So let me go ahead and catch you up to speed on where we're at. So we'll start with these guys. These are going to be the feet that we're going to use. These are poly mounts, and these were given to me by Tom Lipton probably, if I had to guess, about 5 years ago. He sent me a little box with all kind of shop goodies in it, and this set of mounts were in there, and I've been holding on to them for a while now. So what we're gonna have to do is machine the stems that go into these guys right here, which is what I've been working on. Okay, so these are you know, some type of polymer there. They provided a nice soft foot for this to kind of dig into the rough concrete, and should provide a nice foot for the saw. Okay, so that's those guys there. I actually had these as well, but these are some smaller ones that I purchased and been holding on to for my steel picnic table restoration, which is what I want to do this year. I was going to attach these guys to the benches and have these little poly mounts for it as well. That way it's adjustable. But we're not going to use these. I was just looking at them as a possible foot to use. So we're going to use these guys. So this is the actual design that we're going to machine right here. This was the first one. Actually, this was the first one right here, and I ended up using some 1/2 inch diameter rod, and then after they screw in just like this right here. So after making this guy out of 1/2 inch and installing it, I thought that it looked a little bit small. I think we need to have a little bit more material to fill up this hex right here. So I decided to go ahead and let's up it one size, and I went to 5/8 diameter. This is 5/8 cold rolled, so just 10/18 cold rolled right here. We have a 3/8/16 thread on this side, which actually screws into the base of the saw. That is tapped for 3/8, so this will screw up into the base. We're going to have a washer and a nut underneath it here, and then once this screws in to the base. We'll go down with another washer and then a nut, and this will all be captured into the base. And of course, this screwed tightly into the polymer right here, the poly mount, and it's going to look like that once we get it installed. All right, so the large thread on the end here is 1/2 13, and it's not very long because these are not very deep as well. So I've got it to where it actually screw in there snug and shoulder out there on that hex. And then once this is installed, that looks pretty good like that. Now the reason why I made it so tall is because I wanted this to be high enough off the floor, the saw base, so that at any time I want, I can actually put my pallet jack underneath that thing and quickly move it. Okay, so that's the reason why we're at the height that we are there now. And of course, we got our 4 flats milled on there. That'll be the last little step so that we can take our 9/16 wrench here and actually screw them down tight into the mount. So now that we have our part figured out, we'll go ahead and we'll go make another one, and I'll bring you along the way to show you how I machine it. All right, a very simple, straightforward machining project involving the lathe and the mill. I'm going to go ahead and get the next 3 pieces cut. So I wanted to point this out. This is another one of the advantages of the Hydmech saw, where a benefit that I didn't have in the Dual. So you have a fixed jaw on the vise right here. So I'm going to move that back. This is what's left of the material, so I should be able to get at least one more out of that. Some 5/8 cold roll, so we can slide that in there. And because this is a fixed jaw right there that's not going to pivot or tilt, we can still come up in there. It's only going to be catching about 3 inches of the material on this side. We'll be able to come up in there like that, tighten it up, and still be able to cut that without having to worry about this jaw moving around on us like the other saw did. Cutting it 4 1/16 long. They finish at 4 inches, but that length is not super critical there. So we're ready to go. So with cutting the first piece, I discovered that this blade, the blade that came on the machine, has what sounds like a tooth missing out of it. And I know that I did not do this because this is the very first piece that we cut. It was already doing that. So that's working really good for the small materials, and backing it up right here. It'll go down and hit the limit switch here in a sec. So I already know that I'm going to be swapping this blade out pretty soon, which is not going to be a problem. I got some new blades coming for it. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through machining one of these in the lathe. So again, this is what we're going to be looking like right here. So we'll start with this end right here, which is going to be turned to 1/2 13, and we're going 5/16 back right there. We'll do a little face cut on it and then turn it down. Other side, this is 3/8 16 right here. So once we do this side, we'll flip around and do that end right there. All right, I'm going to be running, this is a Tungaloy brand CNGP 430 insert. It's got a 5/1000 nose radius on there, and a nice sharp cutting edge, positive cutting geometry on it. So these type of inserts work really well for small diameter or you know, gummy type material like this 1018. Just make a 30 thou face cleanup on this. Go ahead and set my offset right here, which is going to be 5/16 back. This isn't a real critical dimension. None of them are super critical. We just want to have our, you know, our threads on size. And we'll go ahead and turn it down to 1/2 inch. See how that insert just makes a nice chip there. Should have about 25 or 30 to come off this right here. Yep, take another 25 and then that'll be done. So I'm going to machine some radius undercuts there, or thread reliefs. I'll just use my parting blade right here, high-speed parting blade. So this blade is 1/8 wide, and I went ahead and touched the top of the parting tool right there, and then take a fine diamond hone and just hone in the radius there. I already ground the radius on the end, so we're just touching it up, making that edge super sharp right there, and it does a good job, especially on this soft material like that. Just break this edge here. All right, we'll go ahead and start our thread now. All right, so for our threading, we'll be using the Tungaloy Tetra Mini Cut. I've been using this on the past several threading jobs, and it seems to be doing good, very good. It's got a nice grind profile on that insert right there, and it seems to be pulling off a nice chip on this soft gummy material. So when we're cutting and measuring our threads, I'm going to use my Starrett pitch mics. Right here we have one both for the that'll work for the 13 pitch, and then one for the 16 pitch. And then as far as the pitch diameters, I usually, just to make it quick and easy, I run over to my drawer and grab the appropriate go, no-go gauges. It's got the pitch diameter stamped right on it. So for half 13, we want to hit, 0.450, and then for your 16 pitch, we're going to hit, it's 0.3344 is your ideal pitch diameter right there. So just a little cheat right there. Just use the dimension stamped right on these guys right there. And you can also, on these non-critical parts like that, you can use a standard nut off the shelf, or if you got the part like we do right here, you can thread it so that it's got a good fit on the mating part that it's going to be going to. So just a couple of ways. Something that's not very critical, like a part like that, you can just check it with stuff like this. All right, we've already checked our pitch and make sure that we're cutting it correctly there. So just use a little cutting oil. About a 57 thousandths on the depth of the compound here. "13 pitch", so we're hitting every other line on the threading dial. All right, that's getting me real close. I'm going to make just a light cleanup pass right here, and I'm going to measure it. Give it a little wisp of air, chips off. And I'll go ahead and give it a mic. We're shooting for 450, and that feels pretty good right there. We're at 457. I'm going to measure it one more time just to make sure I'm there. $457. Made a couple of light passes there. Let's see where we mic out at now. Looks like we hit our 450 mark just like we wanted there. We may be 1 or 2 tenths under, but we're right there at it. Okay, we'll just take our piece right there and give it a try. It should go right on there. Yes, it did. So it's got the right fit, and I rung it on there, so I'm gonna have to go get a wrench to take it back off now. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so this side's done. All right, let's get this other side finished out. Taking a 30 thou, clean up on the face, and then we'll turn it. This will be our final or finished pass here, bringing it down to 0.370. We're ready to thread our 16 pitch. So I've already scratched it and checked it, and we are on our correct pitch. So we're going to go about 47 thousandths in feet on the cross slide. Usually start off with a little bit of oil. And I did add the center there for stability. So we're cutting the 16 pitch so I can engage this half nut any location that I want, because it's divisible by 4, which is our feed rod pitch. Forgot to feed it in right there, so we come back and feed it in about 10 and do it again. So we're going to 47, we're at 35 right now. Take another 5. And you see that insert does a good job threading this cold roll. I'll take one more light pass and then I'm going to check it. So I'll just use my pitch mic and measure that and get us down there where we need to be. All right, we want 334, right? Yeah, 334. So you can see we've got about 5 thousandths to come off there, off the pitch diameter. All right, we'll give it another mic right there. I already checked it, and I'm right there where I want to be. I finished at about a 0.5 thousandths under what our target size was, but that's perfectly acceptable right there. This is just the nut we're going to be using on the thread. It fits it just like it should right there. So I always give it a little polish just to remove any of the sharpness or the burrs or fuzz on the threads. Polish that up, and then this is done. All right, so here's the one that you just saw me do right there, turning and threading both of the ends. Turned out really nice. This is the one we already finished completely out that we're copying. And so we've got 2 more to do. Already got one end of it done right there, but I might give you a couple highlights of the turning, a little bit zoomed in turning action of these 2. We'll get these finished out, and then we'll go to the milling machine and get our 4 flats milled on there. Here's our milling setup for some simple indexing. We're going to be doing 4 flats on these, so we're just using a 5C collet block. We've got a stop right here set up for the collet block, so once we machine one side, we can just simply take it out, flip it over, slide it back into this stop right here, just like that, lock it, make the next cut. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get it set up, and what I'm doing is just bringing it up in there, and I'm using my scale and measuring to the end of the collet and measuring this 1.5 inches out to this shoulder right here. As before, it's nothing very critical. We're just trying to make them look uniform to size, but that should put us within a few thousandths there. Tighten up the block, and we should be ready to go. 1.5 inches. That was right. Running 2,700 RPM. That is a 1/2 inch carbide cutter, by the way, and we can run it across there pretty quick, just like that. So all we did was just touch off on the material, and then I fed the knee up 62 thousandths. That'll give us a total of 1/8, and our flat will measure 9/16. So just go ahead and take it, and we'll flip it over like that. I just make sure that it stays in there. I'm just feeding casually, just about as fast as I can across there. That end mill has the corner radius is ground on each flute, so it puts a nice radius in there in the cut as well. Just like that. And then once we're done, we can simply just take it out of the collet. There we go. All right, so our threaded rods are finished up now. They'll screw into the base good. We can use our 9/16 wrench here to snug them up. And then our 3/8 hardware threads on there just as it should for the top. So the last thing to do is go ahead and we'll go get them installed underneath the saw. So before we install them, I decided I want to go ahead and put some of the Oxfo glue blackening on these guys. This is the stuff right here that we're going to use. Just dip a cotton ball in there and then give them a good coating. You'll see them that they'll start turning the black oxide color. And then once they dry, just give them a little buff with some steel wool. And that'll give them a nice color and a little bit of corrosion resistance there as well. Here's the result of our blackening that we did, the Oxfo blue. It turned out really good. It always gives the bare steel a real pretty look, and it's something very simple and easy to do right here in your shop. So now these guys are they're ready to install. We're going to use this toe jack to very easily just pick up each side of the saw. All right, so I know right offhand I need to have the rear pads. We'll just call this one a rear. It's going to have to be adjusted because my concrete is on a slight slope. This used to be an outdoor slab, and they put a little bit of slope to it for drainage. So we'll make sure the back ones are kicked up a little bit right off the bat. The ones in the front, the nut will be run all the way down just like that. Go up a little bit higher. I got my hand on the saw just to kind of brace it while we're going up. The tapped holes in this base, the holes themselves are a little more loose than what I expected them to be. That's why it's kind of moving around. But what we'll do is lock them in real good, just like that right there. I want to put my poly mount out, the words out, not that it matters, but just to kind of make it look uniform. Okay, all right, and then we'll put another washer on the top and then run the top nut down like this, and then we can simply just kind of lock it in where we need. But I'm going to do some fine adjusting on this to make sure that it's locked in, and then once we have it level the way we want, I'll really lock these two nuts in really tight to hold it there in place. But that looks good right there, so we'll go ahead and get the back done. All right, there's our, I'll adjust those later. All right, so I'm gonna go get the other side put on just like you've seen right here, and then we'll start leveling it up. All right, guys, we got our new machinery feet mounted to the bottom of the Hydmech saw. I've got it leveled up and it's ready to use. It worked out pretty good. I think the feet look pretty good mounted on there. So I've got it level front to back and then side to side. I've got some levels up there. I'll show you that in a sec. And we've got it all locked in there as well. So once I got it leveled, I went ahead and tightened up all of the hex nuts so that we wouldn't have any kind of vibration issues of it coming loose. This is the level, so I've got a small machinist level front to back, and we've got it very, very close. This little level there on the going side to side, and I want to say that it's about as level as it needs to be. It finally made it more rigid instead of just sitting on those bolts. Those were just temporary anyway. But it's nice and rigid now. It's not shaking around on me, and I think this is going to work pretty good. So this little project is completed as far as the machinery mount goes, and I had fun sharing that with you, and hopefully you enjoyed following along. So we've got the new Tung Force Mini mill, courtesy of my friends up at Tungaloy America. So this guy right here is another really good option for you guys that have your small manual, low horsepower milling machines. or CNC guys. This is an excellent cutter for the CNC guys as well. You can do a lot of things with this this type of end mill right here. Okay, but for you guys that have your standard manual operated machines, this is another good tool to have right here. I left two of the inserts out just so you can see the detail of the the pocket profiling in there for your inserts. This one is a 3/4 shank with a 3/4 diameter head on there as well, but they come in a range of sizes. You can get them in a lot smaller shank with a lot smaller milling head there as well. So a lot of different options for you. They're great for, of course, shoulder milling. You can take a max depth of 5 millimeter with this, or just under 1/4 inch, and you can use them for shoulder milling pockets, doing slots, plunge cutting. So if you need to take this and go down and plunge into your material and pocket something out, it's excellent for that as well. So they offer them in a wide range of different profiles of the insert. This is the grade that I got, the AH3135, which is going to be suited for steels. So we can use this for most of the steels in the shop right there. And they also have another grade that is designed for aluminum and non-ferrous materials. So a lot of options for you there. So I'm looking forward to trying this out. We'll go ahead and get it loaded up with our other two inserts, and I'm going to do some test cuts on it just to see how it works out. But I'm looking forward to making some chips with this guy right here.